Welcome to our platform and thank you for joining me today. My name is Dr. Deidre Moss and I am the host of Can We Talk with Dr. Deidre Moss. I'm an educator, a motivator, and a talk connoisseur. Today, we will talk about the hurricane season and other related topics. Before we begin, if you're tuning in from social media and you've just joined us, like our page, share this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel using the links that are on our page. Also, if you think there's something that we should be talking about, feel free to let us know. We do want to hear from you. Let us know if you'd like to advertise on our platform or sponsor our program. And with that, let's get into our talk. So, we are currently in the middle of the hurricane season, and we thought it would be fitting to talk about hurricanes, especially as a small island nation. As a small island nation, the Bahamas, like so many others in the Caribbean, are vulnerable to the impact of hurricanes and other natural disasters. So I remember growing up as a child in the Bahamas, in an island nation. The hurricane season was usually something that we would prepare for when the hurricane was close to making its landfall. And so we would batten up, like people would say, batten up the house, which usually means securing the windows from flying debris and stocking up on water, food, emergency supplies, and all that stuff. So after the hurricane, after it was safe to come outside, we would survey the damage and try to return back to some form of normalcy. So this would be a typical hurricane season experience for me. And so that brings us to our discussion today to talk about the hurricane season and other related topics. So the hurricane season, the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season spans from Saturday, June 1st to Saturday, November 30th, 2024, and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration forecasters predicted that there was a high percentage that this hurricane season would basically be an above normal hurricane season. And we've seen a hurricane form with such force and strength, like Hurricane Beryl. And that's one system that's made an historic impact during the Atlantic hurricane season. And Hurricane Beryl formed at the end of June and affected many island nations, including the Windward Islands, the US, and some part of eastern Canada. So Hurricane Beryl would have devastated the island of Curacao, Grenada, as a Category 4 hurricane system when she made landfall on July 1st. So after Beryl would have created the devastation in Grenada, she gained her intensity and continued making her impact on islands like Jamaica and Cayman Islands. Beryl continued, and even though she weakened in her intensity, she continued making her impact. So some of the historical impact that Hurricane Beryl would have made was the fact that she was the earliest forming Category 5 hurricane that was recorded on record. And she was also the strongest hurricane, strongest in intensity to develop in the Atlantic before the month of July. So she made a lot of historical firsts for the Atlantic hurricane seasons. So we're still in the middle of the season, and so as we move forward until the season ends in November, we still see systems like Debbie or Ernesto that's also had some type of impact. And the hurricane season is going to close, so we may see some other systems that may form and that may also have an impact. So it's important to stay informed of the updates that would be provided. So you can stay informed through your through our local our local agencies who are responsible to report that information. And so we can stay informed through those local channels and also be aware of the emergency numbers and the hurricane preparation tips that they provide just in case the need arise. And then I would also like to take a moment, as we talk about hurricanes and their impact, I would also like to take a moment to remember those islands that were affected, those islands and those countries that were affected, that were impacted by the storms, that were impacted by the systems like Beryl. Um, and from the images, she made a lot of damage, extensive and extremely um, extensive damage. And some lives were even lost during her landfall and during her passage. So, this is a reminder of the significant impact of natural disasters, particularly their impact on small island nations. And that leads into the conversation on climate change, that leads into the conversation on these systems and the impact that climate change has on small island states. So, with that, I want to bring us to our motivational minute. And on the motivational minute on the platform, I would have shared a quote that basically speaks to the fact that in an instant, you can come from the back of the line to the front of it, just like that. So, this means that it doesn't matter where you are in life, things can change in an instant for you. It only takes the hand of God to take you from waiting on it to walking into it. So, even if you find yourself at the back of the line, where it may seems like nothing is going right or nothing is going on for you. You see the people around you, you may see family, you may see friends progressing and making moves in life, and you're wondering like what's going on. And it seems like everything is happening for everyone but you. God can take you from the back of the pack to make you the leader of the pack. So do not look at the present circumstances as an indication of what your future can be or what your future can look like, because things can change instantly. In an instant, you can get that call for the job you wanted. You can get that call for the promotion that you've been waiting on. In an instant, you can go from lack to having no lack. You can go from poverty to prosperity, from single to taken, from broken to healed, from homeless to homeowner, from rejected to celebrated, from hated to love. Things can change in a short time. You can move from the back of the line to the front of it, just like that. And so that brings us to the end of our motivational minute. And this brings us to the end of our session today. And we would have had a short time with you today. But if you want to share, or if you want to drop any comments, if you want to put any comments under this video, please let us know. We would love to hear from you. But we would have talked about the impact of the hurricane season. We're in the middle of the hurricane season, and it's important for us to stay informed as a small island nation. We want to remind you that if you want to advertise with us, if you want to reach out to us, our contacts are available on our page. We want to grow, so grow with us. To those watching via social media, thank you for listening in. Like our page for future talks, notifications of upcoming discussions. Comment under our videos, let us know your thoughts, and let us know what you want us to talk about. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Can We Talk with Dr. Deidre Moss, and follow us on our social handles that are available on our page. And remember, as we come to the end of this session, I just want to go back over those tips that we would have shared. And remember that the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season spans from Saturday, June 1st to Saturday, June 30th. and this is forecasted to be an above normal hurricane season. So we want to make sure that we stay informed with local channels and our local agencies regarding this season. We had the historical um, Hurricane Beryl. Beryl made a lot of firsts. She was one of the earliest systems to form in June. She was um, high intensity hurricane system. She was the earliest forming Category 5 hurricane, and she was also the strongest hurricane to develop in the Atlantic before the month of June. So Beryl would have made an historic impact. And so again, just a reminder for us to stay informed regarding these systems as we are still in the hurricane season. And again, we would like to hear from you. So if you would like to add your commentary, feel free to add. We are at the end of coming to the end of August. We're in the middle. We're coming to the end of August. We're moving into back to school season. And so we want to also um, highlight highlight that as well. And so, with that, that brings us to the end of our discussion. Thank you for joining me today. And remember, let's think, talk, do.